go to school with people, they copied during exams. They didn't know anything. You come because they are related to the board chairman. They go for interview and they are promoted. And you who did well, you have not gotten your promotion.
Workers' Union of the Ghana Revenue Authority on the 24th of July 2019 venting their unhappiness with the political interference in their work, which they say is contributing to the revenue shortfalls in the country.
The same people who came in through political appointments have their children as clearing agents who are using exemptions to clear goods. Is that not conflict of interest? Tell me. And as officers, the policies that you brought, I mean, you don't expect me to import things and clear for government to get revenue.
How many days must you advertise? Quarters that might not have passed through these areas.
The accusation by the staff of the Ghana Revenue Authority struck a chord with me. So on August 1, 2019, in a sting operation after the launch of Operation Collect, Name and Shame, a team from the Customs Staff Association and 2 other labor unions stormed the premises of Labianca Company Limited to examine contents declared in the name of Labianca Company Limited and Whitestone Frozen Foods Limited. The objective was to verify the contents of 72 40-footer containers at their premises, following a tip-off that the companies involved have given false information to customs officials.
No, please, can you just come and put it here? Open the rubber. Yes. Yes. No, this is full chicken. Full chicken. Yes, sir. Full chicken. Whole chicken. Whole hen. Yes.
After hours of search, the team found out that the frozen food companies have concealed boxes of full chicken instead of sardinella fish they had stated on their declaration forms.
We are okay. Yes.
On 30th July 2019, one of the frozen food companies, Labianca Company Limited, gave misleading information about the content of some 20 40-footer containers. In 2 separate shipments made on 26 July 2019 with varying declaration numbers, Labianca Company Limited paid a duty of 168,731 cedis 68 pesos and 166,731 cedis 68 pesos, totaling 335,463 cedis 36 pesos. By virtue of misclassification of content of the containers, Labianca Company Limited ended up underpaying a tax amount of 377,232 cedis 2 pesos, which should have gone to the state. Whitestone Frozen Foods Limited also declared to customs authorities as sardinella fish instead of chicken contents of at least 5 40-foot containers with varying declaration numbers, heavily protected by armed police officers. Documents cited by Joy News shows that a container with commodity code 03035300 and 03035400 with varying declaration numbers paid a duty totaling 851,102 cedis 5 pesos, underpaying a tax amount of 807,915 cedis 12 pesos, which should have gone to the state. Labianca Company Limited and Whitestone Frozen Foods Limited paid 1,019,834 cedis 18 pesos instead of 2,204,174 cedis, 32 pesos. So in just these shipments, the two companies put together defaulted up to the tune of 1,185,147 cedis, 32 pesos. In the heat of the moment during one of the days of the investigations at the Tema Fishing Harbour, my cover was blown at the premises of Labianca Company Limited by armed officers of the Ghana Police Service who were providing security there. Together with an associate of Labianca Company Limited, they cursed and threatened to assault me. Armed officers from the Customs Staff Association quickly shielded me and escorted me to a nearby vehicle to prevent what would have been a brutal assault.
It is nonsense.
The associate of Whitestone Company Limited, who led the threat and verbal abuse at me, ended up confessing to the crime of misdescribing content of the containers and threatened to expose another importer who he alleged is also evading tax.
I swear to God, we're going to bring him down as well. Why is he? We also have it. Go and investigate that guy who is giving you bad information. He's also running a coastal. Conflict of interest. You won't sit down for this one. And now I'm going to catch the national security. Now you have to take that from GRA. And somebody is also defending from GRA. You can go to sit for this to happen. They are all Ghanaians. Who's sitting for somebody to...
After months of investigations, Joy News uncovered that by virtue of misdescription of content of containers, the companies involved underpaid 4.6 million Ghana cedis. Following the revelation, Joy News confronted a representative of Labianca Company Limited with documentary evidence to inquire why the company gave misleading information to the state. His explanation was that the shipping company is the one that committed the error by deploying containers with content other than what they had purchased.
We will to this, to explain how they came to misdescribe the product. And then also told them that we are no longer doing business until we had explanation of the circumstances. As we sit here, we cannot tell how they could possibly describe a whole container load. Describe a whole container load as something else.
Meanwhile, attempts to get a response from Whitestone Frozen Food Limited have proved futile. Months of attempts to get a top hierarchy at the Ghana Revenue Authority to comment on the findings of this investigation has so far not yielded the desired result. A junior rank officer at Customs who spoke with me on the condition of anonymity said,
"Persons with political backing are doing it. I mean, deliberately misdescribing content on their containers, and they are doing so with brazen impunity. The difficulty with most of us is how the law is applied. Perpetrators are allowed to walk after paying the difference when they are caught. That, for me and most of my colleagues, is not deterrent enough because many of them get away with it."
The Customs Act of 2015 is however clear about what should happen to a person who fall foul to the provisions. A person who, quote, furnishes or causes to be furnished any information relating to any matter under this act which the person knows to be false, commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not less than 2,500 penalty units and not more than 7,500 penalty units, and any goods in respect of which the act was committed is liable to forfeiture to the state. Section 2 of the Customs Act 2015 also states that where the full amount of duties payable under Section 1 is not paid, quote, the person in contravention shall incur a penalty of not more than 300% of the amount not paid in addition to forfeiture of the goods, where applicable. And B, the person is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not more than 200% of the value of goods in question, or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 5 years, or to both. Portions of this provision were triggered when, after investigations, customs officials presented documents and evidence of misdescription to the companies. There was, however, no evidence of forfeiture of the goods. According to customs officials, leakages like the one uncovered in these investigations are among the drivers of the country's failure to generate enough revenue at the ports, making government's ambitious Ghana Beyond Aid agenda ever Herculean.
No, this is full chicken. That's a full chicken. Whole chicken.